Now, only the really real Mr. Krabs could answer this. If we're discussing imitation crabs on the third Wednesday in January, and it's not raining outside after we've gargled with vanilla pudding, what do we do?
We we with the pudding pass.
Hi, welcome to the Krusty Cast. We are back after 4 months. It's
Only 4 months.
We're
only
calling it
four
the
months.
world's most
Yeah,
consistent SpongeBob cast.
the world's most consistent SpongeBob podcast. But consider, we could have just stopped.
Yeah, could have just vanished forever.
I mean,
But we
that's what
didn't.
most podcasts do, so like, we're doing better than most podcasts right now.
Yeah, we're not a weekly podcast like our socials would indicate. But you
We're,
know what? Like SpongeBob will always find a way to remain.
it's true. We're here forever, so watch out.
And today we have 2 episodes that we think are pretty interesting. So I'd recommend us discussing them.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
Is that what we do here?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, first off, we start off with the classic of season, one of the classic SpongeBob episodes, Dying for Pie.
Pieing for die.
Not
Good
what it's
old
called.
Pieing for die.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say this right out the gate. I think this might be my favorite SpongeBob episode ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do think it's a top tier one.
It is comfortably within the top 5.
But how does this episode start out?
It starts with Squidward dreaming of playing the piano on an island, but then when he hits one key, it's the bell at the Krusty Krab. When I was a kid, I thought this was like the funniest thing in the world. They had like this
Yeah.
specific clip from this episode on the Nickelodeon website, and I'd just watch it over and over again.
This was
Now,
the
why is
episode
that?
to you. Yeah, why was that?
I don't know, I was a kid. Kids just find things funny.
See, I completely forgot about this scene.
He's like
It
Mario.
was not in my memory at all. It's only like 20 seconds long.
If
But I feel like
even.
I feel like it's very forgettable, but also I feel like it serves a thematic purpose. And if you haven't seen the show, this little scene instantly tells you the dynamic of Squidward and SpongeBob, where Squidward wants to actualize his creative goals, and he sees SpongeBob as an obstacle to his happiness, and so he's depressed. And I feel like we have a while to go before we see the less good Squidward exploration episodes, but I feel like this might be an important step that separates the really good classic SpongeBob from the scum era, where it takes time to inform the viewer what Squidward's whole deal is before putting him through the ringer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this whole beginning segment is really slow burn and how
Yeah,
it
but
goes about
I
doing
think it
that.
does a really good job just setting up the dynamic. So Squidward drives in his iconic car from the season 6 episode Boating Buddies to the Krusty
We
Krab.
we see Squidward's bike all the time, but we never see his
Yeah.
car.
His boat.
His
We're
boat,
using the
yeah.
incorrect lore terminology. The lore heads are gonna
I, I'm,
unsubscribe.
I haven't watched SpongeBob in 4 years. I'm sorry.
I've never watched SpongeBob in my life.
Then what are we doing here?
Mhm.
We
So I just love.
I'm just repeating random words. I don't know what you guys are doing.
we talk about Simpsons here. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, one of those guys looks yellow. I can buy that.
so we get a really funny visual bit where SpongeBob's really excited to see Squidward, and he's sliding comedically along the window and cleaning it because he's a sponge.
Yeah. It's a subtle joke I didn't notice until I saw it on the wiki, and I was like, oh! That's a
I
good
like
little...
I just really like how excited he is. He's like, Squidward, did you see me? Did you see me?
Yeah.
I
And
like the part
Squidward
afterward where he like gives the finger guns. He's like, okay.
See you later, Squidinator.
and this leads me to one of my first points about the episode. The animation in this one's fucking wild. It was
Yeah.
storyboarded by C.H. Greenblatt, and you
Uh,
can tell.
you can
Every
really feel it.
I'm going to say that if you pause just like on any individual Mr. Krabs frame in this episode, you will bust a gut laughing. They are all really funny.
Mr.
Let me just
Krabs is
drag a
funny.
bunch in right now, because I'm not gonna get the chance to show all of them.
He's so dimply.
I hate that one the most, where he looks like a rabbit.
The hate rabbits?
Hold on,
Oh
I have a
no,
good one that's
I'm
not
being
on the wiki. Let
misconstrued.
me send it.
And the impetus of this episode is Squidward is going to enjoy yet another day of menial retail labor, but Mr. Krabs has some fun other plans lined up for him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel like
because it. Oh,
you can continue describing it.
yeah, because it's Employee Brotherhood Day, which I'm pretty sure Mr. Krabs just made up, and SpongeBob and Squidward have to make gifts for each other.
I do like I'll buy the little twerp a gumball. It,
I feel like this is might be one of the most interesting Mr. Krabs roles because it's like completely de-emphasized his greed.
Yeah.
It's like so weird and kind of like outside his character that instead of like his money focus, he's focused on getting his employees to get along. There's like a line a little later on where he talks about his like new age management.
Yeah, I can see this as Mr. Krabs just like trying some half-assed morale booster like activity that he just found. It's like, oh, if they're in a good mood, then they'll make more money or something like that. I could see him putting in no effort to make something like this if he thinks it will benefit him in the long run.
And there's
Yeah.
actually something I need to mention about the first scene with Squidward and Krabs talking. So there's this bit where Mr. Krabs is just like, "Good morning, Squidward," and Squidward sticks out his tongue. And typical Squidward is grouchy, except in the Tamil dub of the show. When Squidward sticks out his tongue, he says "Good morning" back. And it's on our soundboard even.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
It's, I didn't know that that's what that was from. That's
Me
really
neither.
good.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why did they go to the effort to put that in?
Good morning.
They don't want this. They don't want Squidward to be rude. That's the line they draw in the episode where he gets his heart cut open and he starts bleeding. But
Anyway, I
whatever.
just think this is a very interesting use of Mr. Krabs, where it's like he's a bad boss in like a much different way than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of balance to his character here.
Did anyone notice? I don't have a screen cap of it, but in this first scene where they're talking at the register, Mr. Krabs like comes into frame and he like doesn't have legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think that's just the thing with like CRTs at the time would often cut off
Oh
the
yeah,
bottom of the
overscan.
screen, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and
But
then
it
we
is
get
noticeable watching it on a modern screen.
I always wanted
So
this sweater.
SpongeBob presents his gift to Squidward. It's a sweater made out of eyelashes.
I
And I
like
love
Mr.
SpongeBob's delivery when he presents the sweater. It's like weirdly stilted, like he's been rehearsing this particular line.
I love Mr. Krabs's line. It's got you written all over it. Mr. Krabs is just like so into this whole like bullshit holiday he made up.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. And we get a sad scene where Squidward hates the gift. I like that he used a watermelon for the head.
Yes, our second melon word moment. I didn't have this episode on VHS, so me associating the fucking Squid's Day Off ending with watermelon is just completely on me, I think.
And then we get to see SpongeBob's other gift because he's really sad that Squidward didn't like his eyelash sweater. And
Yeah.
I like the line, "Do you like this, Squidward? I made it with my tears."
I'd be
Just
kind
like
of
Something I
impressed.
noticed on my
so
latest watch
over
through
the
of the
top and
episode
sad.
is that, like, the windows and doors here are
Yeah, they
Yeah.
could.
completely opaque,
Yeah,
just so they can, like, set up this gag better.
it's so funny. Just like this whole intro has some really good animation stuff. You can really feel Greenblatt in this episode.
I want to
You
bring up a
really
few things about the layout of the Krusty Krab this episode, right?
Yes.
So here in this, where's the door to Mr. Krabs' office? Where is it?
I this one I could explain as like
Hmm.
maybe it's just a little bit off frame here,
Yeah, true.
maybe.
And
But
then next scene, right?
yeah.
He goes into the kitchen door or whatever.
Mhm.
He comes out. What is this door?
This is typically this wall is it's the green wall in the kitchen that normally
Yeah.
leads into Mr. Krabs' office. But for
Yeah.
some reason the door is leading from the dining area. It's really weird. But the setup to that is Mr. Krabs is like, "Well, you better fucking get SpongeBob something." Or what? What was
I don't know.
the reasoning for it? Like what was the threat to Squidward if he
hold
don't
on,
didn't
know,
let me
do it?
fire him.
check.
Oh.
Yeah, let me check.
Or is it just like
Yeah.
a moral dilemma for Squidward in this episode?
I don't know.
Because Squidward does have a lot of moral dilemmas in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, he's in the kitchen for some reason, and he looks
He's
out the window.
he's confused why he can't just buy something for SpongeBob. He looks out the window and there's this group of pirates carrying a big bag of pies. I love how ridiculous the setup to this episode is.
It is
Yeah.
so funny. Just like
It's complete nonsense.
just a group of pirates. They didn't need to be pirates for this joke
Oh, is
to
that why
work.
they're pirates? It's because they're pirates? I don't know.
I don't think
Fuck it. Probably
that's.
not.
But
I
for
guess because pirates would be the ones doing crime underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're pirates because like the reveal that they're like bomb peddlers would be a little less like lighthearted if they weren't like gag. It wasn't a gag. They were just like dudes behind the Krusty Krab like moving bombs because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
This whole thing really makes no sense.
And I love it for exactly that reason.
It is
Oh, for sure.
it's a standout moment, probably one of the best and definitely in the season
Yeah.
where Squidward just goes out there and he seizes the opportunity. And he wants to know those pies there look delicious. And then we get like one of the best incidentals just like
It's a
ever.
bomb.
Oh, these aren't pies. They were made in a factory. No, wait, these aren't homemade. They were made in a factory. A bomb factory. They're bombs. Just like the really straightforward
Yeah.
way he goes about it.
He's very helpful.
Yeah.
And Squidward doesn't care because he wanted to buy one.
So the pirate captain just stops the explanation, takes his money, makes him pay $25 for a pie.
Which $25 for a pie? I feel like Squidward should have been a little bit more
I looked it up.
scrutinizing there.
Yeah.
25. This episode came out in 2000. $25 in 2000 is equivalent to about $45 today.
Oh my god.
Maybe one day the economy will get messed up to a point where we'll watch this episode and be like, oh, $25 for a pie. That's how much a pie costs. And I'm
I
so
no,
sad for when that day comes.
I
Oh.
I like brushed it off as Mr. Krabs being cheap earlier, but I do remember later in the episode he's like 25. Jesus Christ.
And then Squidward, he doesn't care. He buys the pie,
Yeah.
which you'd think he'd think a little bit more about this, because even though I know Squidward's like complacent and he just doesn't care, but you'd think he wouldn't just like he'd know he's buying a bomb to
Yeah.
give to SpongeBob.
I mean, it smells like cherry or grape or maybe raspberry.
To be fair, these pies bombs don't make any sense, and also it's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never really think about for what purpose do they have these bombs and for what purpose are they pies?
If they could blow up the entire city, then like why do you need like a million of them? What are they doing? Well,
I-
whatever.
They're
Yeah.
scary characters in the
The
great
thing is,
Gotta load
I
the
think, like-
cannons with pies, and they'll think it's a joke, but it's not a joke.
I feel like this is like a case where like it doesn't make sense, and you can like go on a lot about like all the like this logic to it. But it's like in this case, I feel like it really helps the joke and how much there is to
Yeah.
dig into how little it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Because just imagine the scene in this whole episode. Like, the premise of this episode hinges on this dumb gag. and that's for the better. And so Squidward drops it off in the office. And Mr. Krabs, I don't know why Mr. Krabs is doing this, because it's not his fucking gift. He takes
Yeah.
a bite of the pie.
That's because Mr. Krabs is a bad person.
He really is. But he thinks this pie would go great with some milk that he just
I
has
love-
laying in his office.
His fucking milk barrel. He doesn't even have a refrigerator or anything. He just has a milk barrel. Like, not a barrel of milk, a barrel with milk on it.
Yeah, he just has a barrel that has a carton of milk on it just on the other side of his office.
and the singular crumb of the pie he got is enough to just completely explode him out of the Krusty Krab. This is when we get the New Age management line, by
Or
the
kill
way.
me over a little bit of New Age management is one of my favorite lines in the episode.
It's so good.
I love Mr. Krabs so much in this episode. He's so funny.
Yeah.
He has
Really
such like
is.
he has such goofy bad boss energy.
And so they discover that this pie is really a bomb. And then
just
SpongeBob happens onto it.
and I love the note that Squidward
Yeah.
has attached. Well,
Well, here you go.
here you go.
I love the little fake out gag where he's like, oh my god, it's a pie. He like totally ignores the giant hole in the wall.
I didn't even really think about that, but you're right.
Yeah.
And then it's too late. Mr. Krabs and Squidward discover that the pie has been taken, which can only mean one thing. SpongeBob
SpongeBob
has-
is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my one nitpick with the episode. I think they lean a little too hard into the misdirection here, because, like,
Yeah.
why the fuck is SpongeBob licking his fingers and patting his stomach
Yeah.
while thanking Squidward for the pie?
Because he
Why
didn't
did he
eat
do that?
it. He didn't eat it.
Didn't eat it. Like, this is a nitpick in this otherwise stellar episode.
Yeah.
This
It is a little bit
I cannot.
too much.
But whatever.
The boy cries you a sweater of tears, and you kill him. That's another standout line to me in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I love the part where Mr. Krabs is like, I was calling the hospital won't help. I've seen this before 11 times. And Squidward calls the hospital and they tell him that they've seen this 11 times.
He doesn't even say
Especially just
anything.
with how absurd the setup is. I think that really hammers it home.
It's a perfect, like, dislogic escalation joke that's just like perfect for SpongeBob.
And just like freezing on Mr. Krabs, just looking at Squidward doing this. It really just sells the joke more, I think.
Yeah.
And then we get like I know I don't like harping on the animation stuff too much, but it is so fucked up how Mr. Krabs' eyelids are like made in that scene because normally he's got his normal eyelids. He's got the red flesh pockets above his eyes that he normally uses to convey his emotions, but there are just lines above just like his regular eyes.
His
It's very weird
eyelashes
not seeing
are
his eyelashes.
his eyelashes are
Yeah.
gone. He looks a little bit foolish. If his nose disappears, things might get really crazy.
A little awesome, even, I think. And so they think SpongeBob's about to die.
Yeah. He ate a bomb. Chances are it's gonna hit his lower intestine by sundown. So Squidward decides he's gonna make SpongeBob's last day meaningful. Show him so much love he'll drown in it. Drown in it! I
I
love just I love note to self. Watch out for Squidward.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorite lines. Like I said, Mr.
Like
Krabs just kills it.
he does.
I
This
think Mr.
episode just has so many good lines.
I think this episode is like the highest like screen time to comedy ratio for Mr. Krabs because every time he's on screen he gets a laugh.
Yeah.
And so Squidward's gonna do that because he feels he owes it to SpongeBob to give him one last good day on this planet. Have we talked about the fantasy sequence where SpongeBob's going to deliver the Krabby Patty to
We
the
we did
No, we
Yeah.
not.
passed
president?
over that.
That's right.
And
Oh,
he
right,
just
right, right, right,
fucking
right, right.
blows up.
So,
Yeah, can we talk about gross flesh bits on this fish's head here?
His tendrils.
It's so
The
weird that
hell?
they added that. There's no reason for those to be there.
yeah.
Why
Yeah,
do you
why
hate
are they?
tendrils?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Tendril Nation
incidental.
hates us for this review.
Well, SpongeBob he's wiping off the table, and Squidward comes up to him, wanting to know, hey, SpongeBob, if you were gonna die today, what's something that you would like to do?
I like this whole scene where Squidward is like forcing himself to be so nice to SpongeBob, and SpongeBob is being SpongeBob's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Squidward, we've talked about this before, but like the SpongeBob and Squidward dynamic is one that is probably the one they most earnestly explore in these like earlier seasons.
Hmm.
It's so
That
good. I sort of consider this episode to be like the pizza delivery of season 2, both for just like very good SpongeBob Squidward relationship plot, plus it's just good as fuck.
like because Squidward, he's a grump and a curmudgeon, and he hates SpongeBob, but like it shows that he never goes far enough to want SpongeBob dead, clearly.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing there. And SpongeBob's got a list of all the fun things he'd like to do. The most fun things are written in red.
Everything's in red.
Yeah, I know. I really like that delivery from Tom Kenny.
It's so dorky.
And so they go and do that. And then we get like my favorite line in the episode where SpongeBob's saying goodbye to Mr. Krabs, and Mr. Krabs is crying as he's putting up a help wanted sign, and SpongeBob just whispers to Squidward, "Heads up, Squidward, I think they're gonna replace you."
Yeah, I love that line. Just SpongeBob sort of being aware that Squidward isn't great at his job, but he still likes Squidward.
Yeah.
Just assuming that Squidward is the one that's gonna go.
Yeah.
And so now SpongeBob wants to show Squidward to everyone in town, and we get a fun montage where nobody likes Squidward.
I mean,
I love
Squidward seems okay with Frank.
Yeah,
I,
I love the face Squidward makes as the anchovies walking by.
this whole sequence is like full of really good Squidward faces because we get the really dimply Squidward where his cuteness has been restored. And and
It,
now SpongeBob wants to show him to everyone in town wearing a salmon suit.
Important question. One, okay, two questions. One, what fucking kind of salmon is this? Why does it have
Yeah.
antennae? Two, what are the implication of salmon suits being a thing people underwater wear?
I was thinking though, it's like the political and like social implication of this.
That's odd. We never see
Well,
one
they're
in the
clearly not
show.
very. They're pretty mortified by this, I think.
And I think they just hate Squidward. I feel like this may say less about salmon and more about Squidward. Maybe they're like this is offensive. This is you can't go dressing like this, Squid.
Salmon run.
And then we get a more of a series of events of fun things that they do together. I
I,
really like, and this is what it'd be like if you had me as a face.
the sky is like gloomy in this scene.
They're in the paper dimension in this particular scene. Then we get Friends in Reverse, which is another one that always cracked me up as a kid.
And then, of course, we get the fucking open heart surgery. I love this scene so much because it's so fucked up and just like this list of mundane friend activity.
It this whole episode really has a whole through line of how did they get away with this, and not in the whole like, oh, it's a joke about a wiener, but like how did they actually get away with like a blood geyser coming out of like a character's open heart?
The
God.
wild thing is, I was looking on the wiki because they have like production for these episodes and shit, and in the storyboard it just says liquid comes out of his heart. They made it blood in the final episode.
And like not
I
only
wonder if
that,
this might be like a case where like they were like shooting high with like what they're trying to get away with. So if the censor like got them, they could just tune in like, oh, this is like regular liquid, and they'd be able to get away with something sort of risque without like by
Yeah.
making it seem relatively less. But then they just let them like show Squidward spewing blood.
Yeah.
and like this whole episode just has a through line of like death and saying the word kill and die a lot.
I guess
Unaliving for pie.
this is like an episode that you make when you're on the second season of your smash hit show. They just let you do whatever you want.
And so they've done all the fun tasks that SpongeBob has wanted to do. So there's only one thing left on the list. Watch the sunset with Squidward. And
Yeah.
it's and
We
it's
get this brief like gag where Squidward remembers what Mr. Krabs told him earlier, and then SpongeBob says hello to the apple.
and he just starts crying.
The wiki has this on the list of fourth wall breaks. I don't know if this
No.
counts
What?
as a fourth wall
No.
break. Like,
This is like fourth wall inside of. This is like fictional fourth wall.
This is
this is the third wall.
this isn't the only thing in this episode block that the wiki
It's
is
Squidward's
really
fourth
wrong
wall.
about. So I really like this whole scene. It is like
Oh yeah, like
Mhm.
genuinely, the backgrounds in the sunset scene are gorgeous.
honestly like this whole scene here really sells the episode as a whole to me because like
I agree.
it's just like a really atmospheric, nice kind of scene to have in this episode. But we get some jokes where SpongeBob asks Squidward, "What does sunsets remind him of?" And then we get a funny thought bubble of SpongeBob exploding.
Did anyone ever see that this thing on Tumblr where someone was like, in this scene they revealed that Squidward is a veteran with PTSD, and that's why sunsets remind him of explosions.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
think I know what you're
remember
talking
this
about.
post now.
Like completely ignoring the rest of the scene and episode.
Yeah,
What makes someone make this post?
like I'm curious if they meant it as a joke.
Okay, can we read the name of the person who posted it
Well, their
on
name
Tumblr?
is Dave Vriska, so
Yeah,
I think they might just not be. This might not have very good media literacy.
I'm not gonna
If I'm gonna
generalize.
stereotype,
Yeah, I'm not gonna generalize here, but I feel like that may be the case.
I'm sorry, Erica just sent a message in response. I love this post because the idea is so stupid and yet the art should be hung in a museum.
Should we may as well just put it on screen.
Yeah, sure. Let me grab this.
thank you, Special Secretary Guest Erica.
We can always count on Erica to come in
It's
clutch.
true.
Hold on.
While we're talking about this, is this where everybody else learned the word erosion?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I mean, it might be where I first heard it, but it's not like... I feel like I remember learning the word from somewhere else. Like, what it means and shit.
Okay, yeah, here's the post. So we see Squidward. He's seeing a bunch of explosions off into the distance.
he's a war vet.
Yeah.
He was in Vietnam, which is a war they also fought in the ocean.
Thank you, Dave Vriska, for giving us this piece of culture. And so the sun is setting, and SpongeBob wants to count it down.
He starts it too early.
Yeah.
Yes, we started it
I
too
guess
early.
we started too early.
I love how he just says 5 and makes Squidward do the rest.
I love to count it down. 5, you do the rest, buddy.
You gotta give it to SpongeBob. He's really annoying. No wonder Squidward doesn't like hanging out with this
I
guy.
think this episode does a good job of, like, making SpongeBob well-intentioned and also annoying, but not annoying to the audience.
Yeah, all of the things he puts Squidward to are funny to us. Like, even though you really got to think about it, botching open heart surgery on Squidward might be the cruelest thing that SpongeBob's ever done to him, but it's still really funny.
Yeah! I mean, what about... Now I'm just imagining, like, a fucking 2010s era sponge tuber getting really mad about the open heart surgery joke, like Mr. Ender getting really mad about the one meta joke in the card.
SpongeBob,
I got a Mr. Enter video on my front
physically
page
harmed you.
yesterday.
Huh?
Oh god.
What
Oh,
were you saying?
Go ahead.
okay.
No, like, two of you were talking at once. I couldn't make out what either of you were saying.
Oh, yeah. I know. Go ahead.
So any,
Let's just
Huh?
continue.
yeah. So there's a big explosion on the other side of the brick wall. I think this brick wall here was also just kind of put there so they could make this misdirect work too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny just because he put it up so SpongeBob couldn't kill him with the explosion.
yeah.
Mhm.
And also just so he wouldn't have to watch the explosion. Like, and we didn't even mention the brick wall. That's a good joke.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. It's you, me, and this brick wall he built between us.
I like that Squidward just stopped and built a wall. He's very resourceful. But it
I
turns
love
out
the
I
I love
Okay.
the fucking line. I am such a good person.
I am
Say!
such a good-
That's another one of my favorite lines. Like, even though he's sure that SpongeBob is dead, he still has to pat himself on the back for like going through this.
It's
But
so
but SpongeBob's not dead. He,
he was
for
just
some reason, is blowing bubble bombs on the other side of the wall, apropos of nothing.
Why is he doing this?
It's
Does he hate veterans?
oh my god, SpongeBob really. This really is a Squidward torture episode. And so
Squidward is just completely baffled how SpongeBob lived.
he's pissed off that SpongeBob didn't die.
He was
But
nice to SpongeBob for no reason.
and SpongeBob reveals he has a big book of things they can do.
They'll be done by January, so they're gonna finish up this list pretty soon, guys.
Yeah.
That's
This is
congrats.
our first January reference of the block.
You can only listen to this episode today when SpongeBob said we should be done by January 8th, 2025.
No, you can't date it when we're recording it.
Yeah, January 15th. January 15th.
January 2026.
Yeah.
There, that was has
Just
a longer
delay
shelf
it by a
life.
fucking year.
Yeah, that'll hey, if this episode comes out then they can't say we held it back for a year. And so Squidward wanted SpongeBob to explode, and then SpongeBob does by yelling at Gary. I like this bit because SpongeBob was saving the pie for them to share, which he didn't eat the pie. He was
Yeah.
just being weird earlier, licking his fingers and rubbing his
Burping.
stomach. Yeah, burping.
Like the fumes.
Maybe he ate a different explosive pie. Maybe he got one from the pirates before Squidward brought it in, but it just didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And so SpongeBob's ready to share with Squidward, but he trips, and then the pie hits Squidward, and then they all die. And that's the end of SpongeBob.
Yeah. Goodbye, SpongeBob.
This is
Goodbye
back coming out of
forever.
the last
Final
episode,
words.
actually.
Ouch.
How many
This
SpongeBob
episode-
episodes end with ouch?
This one, Sandy, SpongeBob, and the worm.
I know jellyfishing does.
I feel like an episode ends with like Plankton saying it.
I know Plankton says it in the next episode, but I don't think it
Yeah.
ends on him with saying it.
No, I don't think the next one does.
So that was famed episode Dying for Pie.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's peak.
it is.
It's all downhill from here. We've watched the best episode. That's a lie. There are some really great episodes ahead, but I do earnestly think this might be my favorite of the entire show.
Same.
I think it hits like just the right balance of being genuinely really funny from start to finish, and also being like kinda genuinely sweet with its like character relationship, right? Because this is like such a good SpongeBob Squidward spotlight.
Honestly.
Does such a good job just capturing their dynamic where like Squidward doesn't want to like hurt him, but also he's still annoying as shit. And I think they hit the perfect balance where like the episode doesn't take itself very seriously, what with all the fucking pirate bomb shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very silly, so it doesn't ever feel too heavy, but it takes itself seriously enough to make the character relation stuff feel, the character relationship stuff feel meaningful.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. SpongeBob and Squidward, top tier character duo. I love this one.
What'd you give it?
7.
I gave
I
it a
mean,
7
what else
as well.
would I give my favorite episode of the show?
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, but I
Hey.
picked a 7-point scale so I wouldn't have to break it. So it's
I
7.
think we all gave this
Yeah.
a 7. Do you give it a 7, Randall?
Yeah, I think I would.
Yay.
I don't think there's a single thing I'd say is wrong with this episode. It's perfectly paced. All the jokes are funny.
What about when he licked his fingers?
Okay, you're right. Knock
Okay,
it
the
down to a
episode's a
3.
2.
I can't stand by this.
Okay. Uh,
So that's
that's
I guess
SpongeBob.
we all said our piece on that one.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything Jasmine said is what I would say, including I would give it a 7 out of 7.
And me too.
Whoa.
It's an episode with a lot of heart in more ways than one.
That's a good tagline.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So moving on.
What are we moving on to?
What are we moving on to? Did we want to talk about the clip art? The stock SpongeBob art?
I don't know.
We brought it up, so I think we should.
Sure.
Okay.
There's a you probably all noticed it that SpongeBob clip art, some of it's really disgusting and terrible,
Yeah.
but some of it is really awesome and looks nice.
So this
So-
middle segment's just about SpongeBob clip art, stock art, whatever. The first thing standing out of note to me is pansexual SpongeBob.
What?
Linking
Oh,
it in
let me-
the
Yeah, let me grab
Yeah, he
these.
really is.
Whoa.
good for him.
It's like rate all of these on our 7-point scale so we can make this content. I think this one is a 6 because he's pansexual, but loses a point because his posing looks really stiff.
Yeah.
He's posed like a wayside cartoon character.
This does have wayside cartoon energy.
Does kinda.
Are there any pansexual characters in the wayside cartoon?
Probably.
I think this is for
I'm
a
the
different...
resident wayside expert here, so I think I need to give the solution.
Let's
I don't fucking know. One of the Erics. Your
One of
pick.
the Erics.
One of them.
make a poll online. Who is the most pansexual wayside school character?
You have to
Sorry.
clarify that it's the cartoon.
Fandom
Yeah.
Wiki is lagging like hell right now. Oh, it's because there's like 2 million images on this page.
There's a lot of SpongeBob's. Here's one I don't think is very good.
This
Oh,
this
let me
image
get this one.
activates a
Oh.
fight or flight response to me because you almost always see this edited to him to be like evil or like smoking weed or something.
Yeah. I think the old one, I think I'd give it like a 5. It has like trustworthy energy, but it's gone through so much. I think SpongeBob is like
Yeah.
2 out of 7.
He's like
Make
If
holding
I
a-
saw
Why
him in
is he
Silent Hill, I would be
O?
so scared.
Maddie,
Why
can I
is
make
he
a request? Can you
O?
make the O really tiny so it looks like that SpongeBob is holding a donut? Thank
I
you.
have a very iconic render we need to put on screen.
Okay. Oh!
This one's a 7, no question. You'll know it when you see it.
Well, it's not just SpongeBob.
It's SpongeBob Patrick.
This one is like top 1. We have to be honest.
You,
It's so good. It's so cute.
I mean, yeah, in addition to being like a joke one, it's just genuinely pleasant. They're best friends.
They're best friends. They're sweet.
I mean, trusting you is my decision. Breaking it is yours. Okay, so I'm seeing some real gross ones in the chat here that I don't like looking at.
Oh! Yeah, let me grab some of these.
I
These
have
ones-
one that I think Erica would love.
Oh. Oh my god, what is with this one?
Whoa,
It's from
Okay.
Pranks a Lot.
I hate this one. Why does he look like this? He's so evil
He
looking.
never looks like this in the cartoon.
He's so evil. He's so
If I-
cruel.
This is a 1 out of 7.
Like, for
This is
what purpose do you need this clip art? He doesn't
an
look like
unlikely.
he's angry.
I don't know how to rank nudity Bob and nudity Patrick.
We should have discussed this in not our last middle segment, but the one where we talked about all the public nudity scenes. I didn't think it permeated to the clip art.
I
Oh,
guess give it like a 4 out of 7 because like when would you ever use it? But like it's not low quality. It's conveying something effectively.
Yeah, it's like it's really
Whoa.
dynamic. I found a
Like,
disgusting one that I
this
hate.
might be like the gayest image of SpongeBob.
This
It
is a
might just
7.
be.
This is a 7.
This is
Yeah,
perfect.
okay, I'm posting one that sucks now.
Oh, I
Oh
don't
my.
like it.
Return of
1,
Dentist.
0 if we can do that.
I think this is a 0. I think this has to be a 0.
This is the one that I brought up. The horrible screaming SpongeBob. This is a nightmare.
He's so disgusting.
Why do they give him so much detail here? He's got nostrils.
He's like Gygus in the background.
Hold on.
From here on out, Screaming Bob will be on our overlay and will become more and more opaque as the season goes along.
That's scary.
Scary. I don't want it.
Here's some classic bad SpongeBob images.
Oh.
Oh yes. I think all 3 of these need to be on here because these are the 3 emotions.
Oh yeah, let me grab all these. Oh my god.
These are the only 3 things you're allowed to feel. Cuz
I love the file names here.
what are they?
Hold on.
Okay, we
Let me
get this
them in
one.
here first.
We get Mischievous Bob with
I
his
kind
big
of like
white
Mischievous
grin.
Bob. He looks weird and off, but I like his big grin. And this
Yeah.
one is kind of gross for reasons I can't express. I
I
hate
feel like
his mouth.
I
Yeah,
feel like I've
this
seen
one
this on
I
a
always associate with this really old Tumblr post of it's like a fucking tablecloth with this one and like some beans spilled by his butt, so it's SpongeBob shitting out beans, and that's just what I always think of when I see that render.
the latest render you posted. I think this is quintessential worst like SpongeBob clip art where he's just pointing at himself doing an emotion that nobody ever feels.
This one on the okay. This is like a kind of niche take. The one you just posted with him like waving around is like what half the Yokai and Yokai Watch 3 look like.
Oh my god.
You're right, though, is the thing. Like, hold on, there's one I'm looking for. I found it. I found the one I was looking for.
Oh boy.
Hold on, I need to send it. This one.
Ah!
Oh,
This one's awesome.
oh my
So-
god.
So this one is from the season 10 episode Mimic Madness, except it's been like cobbled together out of other clip art.
I think this might be my favorite one. Like on a horror level, I think I have to respect it. This is another Silent Hill
I'm pretty
Bob.
sure the episode's like pretty good. I remember really liking it. But it's so fucked up to turn this into a stock render. Why is this a stock render?
God.
Especially because they have another variant of it. I realized we're not ranking
Why?
these ones on our scale really anymore, but
Oh well.
I'm posting
rank
the
it if you want.
ultimate version.
We're getting to the realistically shaded ones.
Okay. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. The crying one might be the worst one. This is the most disgusting one.
This is like all we're gonna see when we get to like 6 through 8. This is what
Yeah.
every episode will be like.
Why is there so much detail on the buck teeth?
Oh.
I have good
Nah.
news.
It's just nasty.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Ah!
Oh my god, Smash 4 render.
Yeah. Hold on,
The
I can
fucking
do
Moonlit Blossom
like
Kirby
a
song.
Smash Melee or Smash Melee to Brawl where it just like
I'm sharing this render because
Awesome.
I don't know what it's from or what it'd
Yeah.
be used for.
oh
You also post Flower Bob. I really like Flower Bob.
Yes, and Flower Bob.
Flower Bob is
yeah.
another horror adjacent one, I think. Also, this one is unusual. I don't
I
know what
don't
it's meant to
know.
convey.
Yeah, me neither.
It's meant to convey sideways, Bob.
He looks like a dead doll.
Yeah, there's no life in those fucking eyes. This looks like a creepypasta image. This looks like Red Mist.
Yeah.
All you have to
Which
do is
one?
all you have to do is take away the mouth on Flower Bob, and people
Uh,
are like people are gonna enjoy it.
Trying to see if there's any other.
Can you
Okay,
post
so
before we end it? Can we post the one Squidward render that everybody loves?
oh, which
Got one
one?
more to
Hold on.
post as well.
Squidward.
What is that one, Gwen? Is that
it's
Butch Bob?
Oh,
yeah,
Potato
it's
Bob?
I was
SpongeBob
about to
was
ask
an
a
average sponge.
question about which of the SpongeBob stock art is the most butch, and unfortunately, it's this
I guess
one.
it has to be this one.
Unfortunately,
Hang on, I'll find the render.
there's a couple I think you could be thinking of.
Specifically the one where he's playing the clarinet and he's got his eyes closed.
okay.
There's still multiple of those.
Hang on, I'll post it.
Is it this one? Hold on.
Yes,
I
it
can.
is this one. This one is so good.
Yeah, Squidward.
It's like
Squid's
an old
got
friend.
jeans. Squid's got jeans.
That's the other really good one.
Yeah.
This is such a Smash Ultimate render.
Every time I see the Squidward hands on his hips render, I smile. I think
Yeah.
it's nice. And if
Did
we're
they
talking
have
about
Squidward's drippy souffle
The
as
fuck?
a
Hold on.
stock art?
wait, what? It's
I'm
gotta be
see
You
a
I'm trying
couldn't
to
parrot.
see
hear
if I
it
can
over
find the
my mic,
fool.
but I laughed
You're
so loudly.
old. You're old.
It's especially fucked up because that episode is banned.
Yeah.
They banned, but not the one where SpongeBob cuts open Squidward's heart.
And that's all in good fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
It's so fucked up because the rest of him looks so normal. They just fucked up his face. He laid down on the beach that makes you old, but only his head was in the part that makes you old.
I think this might be the oldest crab stock art.
Oh my god.
He's lovely.
He's
He
so
looks so full
cute.
of life.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's so gentle and caring.
You can do the party pooper pants thing where he's holding up the picture of the cashier, and then what the cashier looks like now. You can do that with this render, the one you just posted of old crabs. Any other Reddits you want to post? Or you want to get to the?
No, I think we're good.
I think we've hammered the point home that SpongeBob renders are really funny and a lot of them are really gross and terrible to look at.
It's true.
I agree. Thank you.
So, all right. Imitation crabs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It,
All right. So, this episode starts as all episodes do.
Hold on, sorry, I'm interrupting. Going back to the middle segment.
oh,
Very briefly, because I was looking at the Mr. Krabs gallery, and this uses she, her pronouns for Mr. Krabs.
Let's go.
Wait, hold on.
oh
Wait, this is
my God.
important.
Exactly,
my
you
God,
see
oh my
why I
God.
had to interrupt this.
I'm so happy for her.
This rules.
Can we also talk about that face that she is making on this image?
Yeah.
We just
It is a
use she, her
gift.
pronouns for Mr. Krabs for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I think we should.
God.
All right.
Hold on.
Okay.
As I was saying, this episode starts as all episodes seem to do, adjacent to the Krusty Krab, with the same like opening shot from Help Wanted, seemingly.
Yeah.
We love the Krusty Krab.
For
But-
sure.
This is unlike any other episode of season 2 so far because it's got plankton in it.
Mhm.
When was our last plankton episode?
Was it Walking Small?
I think
I
so.
think it was Walking Small.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, for us, it was the Plankton movie.
Oh, right. So Plankton's got a genius plan. He's in a big robot mech suit, which he liked enough to do twice in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's like a kind of a
As we're gonna
salesman guy.
discuss, Plankton disguising himself becomes sort of a thing throughout the series, and especially in season 7. So we're getting our first 2 out of the way in this episode.
Yeah.
I also like that live-action Krabby Patty.
Mhm.
That does not look very appetizing.
It does
I'm sorry,
not.
that tomato is like way too big.
It looks like it'd taste like plastic.
It doesn't even look like there's any condiments on it. It looks gross.
I like how Plankton feels the need to put a mustache to disguise his
Yeah.
robot.
It is cute.
So he goes into the Krusty Krab and he asks if he's SpongeBob SquarePants. And we get a cute little scene where SpongeBob has to look into the spatula, and we get Spatula Bob for a little bit before he says that he is. It's adorable. But lucky for SpongeBob, he just won $1 million. Which, if this were any other episode, it'd cut to Mr. Krabs hearing this, because he'd
Yeah.
absolutely hear this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you get this Mr. Krabs money stuff a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he could just sense that this wasn't real money.
But in order to get the $1 million, he has to tell what is the Krabby Patty secret recipe. We get a fake out joke here where SpongeBob's setting up for it, but then he reads off like
Terms of service.
yeah, it's terms
Yeah,
of service.
I wrote it in my notes. The Krabby Patty formula is the sole property of the Krusty Krab and is only to be discussed in part or in whole with its creator, Mr. Krabs. Duplication of this formula is punishable by law. Restrictions apply. Results may vary.
I love results may vary.
Yeah!
And that pisses off Plankton.
Yeah.
And then he blows up his teeth and he jumps out of the robot.
Starts haranguing SpongeBob's eye.
And then Mr. Krabs enters the scene. And we get a little back and forth where they say each other's names and a bit where SpongeBob says his own name, which is funny. We like SpongeBob in this episode.
Me too.
Yeah.
So,
So Mr. Krabs just grabs Plankton, grabs a customer's straw.
yeah, can we talk about how much fucking soda was in this customer's straw when he took it out?
What kind of soda straw is he using?
This guy's got some
That's
skill.
a good frame.
A state-of-the-art liquid. Wait, he doesn't have his nose. I'm sorry, she doesn't have her nose. So we
I was
get
about to say.
crabs without eyelashes and crabs without nose.
We
I
have
think we-
the full fission.
Yeah. We need to fuse them. We need to fuse them. Things will get seriously foolish in here.
And so, after stealing that poor customer's straw, she shoots Plankton into the chum bucket. And then we cut back and we get a shot where the power is out in the Krusty Krab, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, the state-of-the-art liquid transport device took a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Why would I waste money lighting the whole store?
He's so resourceful.
And so Mr. Krabs gives SpongeBob a lecture about looking out for that plankton there.
hmm
And we get Squidward and his this is a
No!
funny
You're
No,
exchange.
skipping!
you missed
No!
the head.
Oh no!
You said earlier this is like your favorite joke in the entire show!
Oh!
We
Okay. Can I
we
be
get
real
this
here real
first.
quick?
We get this.
Yes. Yes,
This
okay.
fucking clip they reuse every single. I remember they would
Yeah,
use this
I was
constantly in
mentioning this when I
promotional.
was watching it with
I do
Brandon
remember this.
earlier. Because I had a bunch of SpongeBob VHS tapes as a kid,
Yeah.
but this episode was on none of them. But the promo had, as long as these pants are square and this sponge is Bob, I will not let you down. And it was just like,
Yeah.
so that particular line's been burned
Has
into my
yeah,
brain.
same here. They
Okay.
really liked this line.
They
Yeah.
loved this line.
I guess it's because he says his name, so the kids will remember what the show is called.
Okay. In my defense, this is my favorite joke in the show, but this particular episode I never remember the order of, and I flat out forget that this joke is in this episode like most of the time. So the setup for it is there we get a pleasant green fish with a funny hat on, wondering what's in a Krabby Patty.
He
And
just straight up asks, I wonder what's in that secret formula.
and this gets SpongeBob into action as he goes down and he rips this dude's head off. And then we get probably my favorite joke of the entire show, where underneath the head is a small blue fish head, and he goes, "But everyone at the head enhancement clinic said nobody would notice," and he runs away crying. Just the the idea of a head enhancement clinic. it's
God.
it's really funny. It's delivered well. And also SpongeBob would totally have killed that guy.
Yeah.
And Mr. Krabs comes in telling him he can't just go ripping people's heads off. And
now
then
we get
and then we move on to a really good exchange between Mr. Krabs and Squidward, where Squidward is basically saying, "Why do today what can be put off till tomorrow? But what is today but yesterday's tomorrow?" And I love the little "huh."
Yeah.
And so Mr. Krabs makes Squidward do inventory, which we rarely ever see the storage room in the Krusty Krab, do
Yeah.
we? It's really large and full of things like keep meal and bags of goop just in the corner.
Yeah, they're saving that for season 7 for all the icky gooey slime monsters.
hmm
I mean, they gotta make them out of something. And so Plankton sees this as his chance. He enters the room where Squidward is and tries to talk to Squidward, but because he's Plankton, he doesn't know what to say. So we get like
I am
Plankton
Mr.
just going on.
Krabs.
Yeah,
Your
yes, I am
boss.
Mr. Your ruler, your master.
I love the Also, this shot, yeah, the one you just posted with Squidward and the intense lighting, it looks so cinematic.
It really
Mhm.
does. But there's a less good shot that comes after where Squidward's eye is fucked up in a major
Oh?
way. Yeah,
Hold on.
Yeah, here it is. They
It-
do have it on the wiki gallery, nice.
they fucked up the layering, I'm assuming, on Squidward's face here, because they're trying to make him squint. But they don't make his
Oh,
eyelids
what the
squint.
fuck?
They just fill in the bottom of his eye with like his skin color,
Ugh.
but they don't fully cover the eye so it looks like a flash game. So anyway, Squidward immediately deduces that this isn't Mr. Krabs,
Yeah.
but
So Plankton just offers him the day off, and
he Squidward seizes the opportunity. He doesn't care. Mr. Krabs told him to take the day off, so he's just gonna leave.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Squidward, that he's like keen enough to know stuff like this, but complacent and uncaring enough to really give a shit.
yeah.
That's a fun trait about Squidward.
Yeah.
And when Squidward leaves, it's on SpongeBob to enter the scary dark room and do inventory. And it's at this part where this episode is hard to remember. I'm sorry. We just
Yeah.
watched it.
Hmm.
It's where
It-
SpongeBob feels Mr. Krabs' metal pants.
It does kind of
Oh,
like
right.
blend together because a lot of the things that happen are very similar to the things that
It
happen later in the episode.
it really is, and that's probably the best way to put this episode. It's funny, but like so much of it just feels homogenous
Yeah, just like
and
a bunch of
samey.
gags that are pretty funny, but the like I don't think the connecting tissue is very
There,
fully fledged.
yeah, there's not really a through line for us to discuss here. It's another one of those episodes that just got like a bunch of good gags to it, and it's basically just going to be us elaborating on those gags.
Yeah, like what happens is SpongeBob comes in and sees robot crabs, but then like Robot Plankton hears the real Mr. Krabs, so he like distracts SpongeBob and hides as the toaster, and then
Yeah.
SpongeBob was like, "Oh, I thought, what?" And then he like confuses Mr. Krabs by bringing up stuff that the robot said, and then the robot comes back and contradicts Mr. Krabs. Then Mr. Krabs comes back and contradicts the robot. And that's
Yeah.
basically the scene.
That's that's basically kind of the rest of the episode, frankly.
I mean, after this, they get Mr. Krabs out of here, so there's a change of pace in that sense. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
feel like the scene like has solid gags, but I feel like the connecting tissue isn't there, and it's. I know we talked a lot about how like the contrivance of how nonsense the plot of Dying for Pie is,
hmm
like how that works to the episode's benefit. But I don't think it really works as well here. Like it doesn't make sense how like SpongeBob is like seeing two different Mr. Krabs coming at him like from different angles. And he doesn't really react to it very much.
and also how like Mr. Krabs. I do like how Mr. Krabs is like taken out of the episode. It's funny in that sense, and it does track that he would leave the episode that way.
Yeah, I like the ordinary penny.
But oh, it may look like an ordinary penny. That's because it is an ordinary penny.
He just
And
aimed
Fucking
it really well.
striptease music when Mr. Krabs sees the penny.
Oh yeah. And can we talk about Fish Abraham Lincoln for a second? I think that's just a funny idea. And so I guess this is the part where Mr. Krabs is out of the episode, or is there more to the scene?
I don't know.
Yeah, that
I'm trying to catch
that's
He
up.
just
the
You
kind of
guys keep
leaves,
going.
and then Robot Krabs is like, "No, he's gone," and then he gets fucking crushed by the sea crab
Yeah.
sign. Kind of an unforced error, Plankton.
all right. And then we get to what is essentially the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love the joke where a fucking microphone pops out of the robot crabs and he's just like, oh. Hold on, I need to find the exact. Yes, I must get this shirt cleaned.
It's and as we established at the start of the episode, I think now is a good place to bring this up. Is how much season 7 particularly loved this episode and this premise,
Yeah,
seemingly.
they did it like 3 more times in season 7 alone, where like you have the one where he disguises himself as a Sandy, and then you have the one where he disguises himself as his grandmother. Then you have the one where he disguises himself as Gary, and it's all to fool SpongeBob each time. Each of them has this controversial con con confrontation where
Yeah,
like the
confrontation.
character Plankton is disguised as comes to say, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?"
It is.
And it's just like,
They
why did you
made
do 3 of them in one season?
they made the same episode 3 times. It's baffling. And of all episodes, I wouldn't go for this one really.
I
Yeah.
think
Oh
there's
well.
better episodes to like copy the script of and change one character.
Yeah. So we're in the
This one
kitchen,
doesn't even have
and
public nudity in it though, so the Sandy episode has an advantage.
you're right. So we're in the
Anyway,
kitchen, and Plankton's like asking for the formula and all that, but SpongeBob can't say it because there's a bunch of tasks that they have to do. This is another episode where SpongeBob is giving someone a lot of tasks too.
Yeah.
yeah, these episodes
Yeah,
are very similar in that respect. I feel like these episodes both have SpongeBob as like a reverse Bugs Bunny sort of thing, where he's like putting someone through the ringer without realizing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the first task is to stand on one foot and balance a glass of chocolate milk on their head.
That chocolate milk looks so fucking delicious. I want to drink it. I
Do
want
you
to drink it right now.
do you think that chocolate milk was sitting on a different barrel in Mr. Krabs' office?
Probably.
So after that, it's just a bunch of gags
Yeah.
of SpongeBob putting Mr. Krabs through the ringer. We
I
get it.
always think of like the one Tumblr gif which had them doing ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli, but it's the wrong scene.
Yeah.
It's during
I
the meatball spaghetti underneath ravioli, ravioli, Great Barrier Reef scene.
I bet
And as a SpongeBob lore expert, it pisses me off.
yeah, thanks Dave Vriska. You've done it again.
You don't need to bring Dave into this or Vriska.
So they have a tasty luncheon, but he still can't give the formula
Hmm.
because he was told. I do like that he had to eat a bunch of licorice jelly beans through a straw. That would have That's funny to think about him doing. But he keeps the formula in this bottle.
This is like the first episode that uses the bottle as a shorthand for the secret formula. And
Is
it's
it?
also like the only one in the classic era, I think. I think the movie
No.
might also, but in Plankton's Army, it's portrayed as a book. In
Oh,
episodes like
you're
Plankton
right.
and fucking Fun, he just tries to steal a Krabby Patty outright. This is like the
Hmm.
only classic episode where it's a bottle.
That's
And that
weird.
fucks me up.
It's such an iconic image.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
that feels like that can't be right because there has to have been some other time when this happens.
Huh.
This has to have happened at least once.
Well, anyway, he's going for the bottle and he's making a really funny face while he's doing it. And then Mr. Krabs shows up. I guess he got the penny. We didn't get to see a
The
payoff to
penny
that.
rolls in
Oh,
and
right.
yeah,
I'm
she
bad at
opens the
remembering this
door.
episode. Yeah. And then she sees a robot version and a SpongeBob standing there about to take the formula. And we get Sonic CD
Yeah.
as Mr. Krabs and Robo Krabs face off. And then we get a really intense SpongeBob bit where he's ready to
SpongeBob
kill
is
one of them.
he's very intense and also has a fucking contraption. Do
Yeah.
you think that
I
that's just in the Krusty Krab or what?
I it has to be like they just have to have a giant mechanism that like mixes tartar sauce with a giant hose.
Maybe that's a security system.
Yeah.
And it's not like the bucket of gasoline and the lighter that they cut out of that one episode.
I'm excited to get to that episode in 2092. That's a very good one.
And so
Anyway, yeah.
SpongeBob has taken control of the situation, and he wants to ask questions only the real Mr. Krabs would be able to answer. And I don't know how Plankton knows all of this offhand.
Honestly, I think it makes sense. Like, Plankton's someone really dedicated to stealing the formula. I think this is shit he'd know.
You
I
also have
think
to
this
keep in
is...
mind that he went to college.
Yes, he
That's
went to
true.
college.
As seen in his beloved movie.
My movie.
He's so mad we didn't talk about his movie.
my movie.
So, and something I want to talk about is one of the questions is how much is a Krabby Patty? And Mr. Krabs answers it. Like, to be fair, should Mr. Krabs have been penalized for this? SpongeBob didn't even finish his question.
Yeah.
He buzzed it. She buzzed in too early, and that's like a penalty. If you do that shit on Jeopardy, they're gonna kill you.
That makes sense. But like,
But also, like, it seems so weird that Mr. Krabs would discount a Krabby Patty on Wednesday. You think
right.
it'd be more expensive, if anything.
Yeah. Like, them being $2.99 alone already is kind of preposterous to me to think about.
How much was $2.99 in 2000
That's a good
compared to
question.
I don't
today?
know.
It's $5.48 today. Remember when fast food cost like less than 10, like a single digit amount of dollars?
That was nice when that happened.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob has a really crazy question at the end.
Which is our second January reference of the block.
Which I guess is where both of these episodes take place. I'm
And these
Yeah.
episodes
assuming.
came out in January.
Did they? Hold on.
Yeah.
They did,
It-
yeah. Huh.
Oh wow.
This is a January themed episode block.
I mean, hey, I guess it was worth us putting this off for 4 months.
This is all of this was intentional. It was
Yeah.
always the plan.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Mr. Krabs fucks up the difficult question, gets blasted into a delicious seafood meal.
It's fucked up that they have this. Why do they have this?
It was just sitting out there
Like-
in the dining area.
Like, this is a wacky joke I'm fine with because it's funny and it's a fun visual gag. But why do they have this?
Part of the security system.
Yeah,
Oh, true.
it came with the tartar sauce machine. And then they see the penny on the ground. And SpongeBob wants to give it to Mr. Krabs. And he puts it in his slot. I like
this. I think this
like
might be my
this
favorite
bit.
joke in the episode. Like just capping it with the penny self-destruct slot. It's so stupid, but like it's just
Yeah.
really like dry reaction to it. It just really sells
Yeah.
it.
Coin operated self-destruct.
Oh, and this leads to a note about this episode, which is
the other
so
thing the
when the
wiki fucks
self-destruct
up.
mechanism is activated, it's Karen's voice, right?
Mhm.
And like it is listed as Karen in the credits and everything, but because of this, every time there's a brief Robot Krabs cameo in another episode, it's listed as an appearance for Karen by the SpongeBob
Oh.
wiki.
That's not how this works. Robot. It's like the like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit diagram, but like Robot Krabs is not Karen.
SpongeBob wiki dropping the ball yet again. And so I think another one of my favorite bits is just this whole like animation of him quickly trying to run to the chum bucket and then just blowing up.
Explosions are another running theme of this episode. It's about tasks, it's about January, it's about shit exploding.
That just raises the point that the explosive in Plankton's machine is less potent than one in a fucking like pie bomb that some pirates had.
Maybe he was in league with the pirates. Maybe that's where he was getting his explosives.
Oh my
You ever think of
god.
that?
I didn't think about that.
That's why the pirates are just behind the Krusty Krab. They're preparing to make their way to the chum bucket.
Maybe Plankton hired them to throw pies at the Krusty Krab.
They didn't do that though.
I don't
They
know
didn't
what
do
they were.
that.
I don't know what they were gonna do with the pies.
We don't know what they're doing. They're very mysterious characters. Maybe we'll get an
Very
episode about them in season
Spon-
17.
SpongeBob Mysteries, the bomb pirate.
SpongeBob in Pie Pirate Bomb Land or something.
High defense.
And SpongeBob realizes that wasn't the real Mr. Krabs because he ran into the chum bucket and blew up. And then he sees the actual Mr. Krabs fighting morally gray character Hans, who is about to kill and eat him.
I had
What
Hans
is
do
this?
this.
You should
Yeah,
have
we're
eyes.
they should add Hans to the morally gray characters wiki because, you know, he helps SpongeBob get dressed. He prepares. He gives a lollipop, but he also tries to eat Mr. Krabs, which like
I mean, it's a net positive depending on who you ask.
that's
Mhm.
true.
Crabs are tasty.
But he's just so ready to eat this creature that he knows is sentient.
God, who eats crabs with tartar sauce, though? That sounds so weird.
Yeah, normally tartar sauce is like with like fried fish or something, right?
Yeah.
You'd want to eat them with like butter or
Yeah,
something.
butter. That's what you. Yeah.
It should have been like a butter machine he just had in the kitchen. So he saves Mr. Krabs from his undue fate, and then they go back into the Krusty Krab where they share a good laugh about how Mr. Krabs is gonna dock his pay by a penny.
Mr. Krabs is like unusually chill about this, I think.
Mhm.
He understands. He would have been fooled himself or herself if she wasn't Mr. Krabs.
True.
And
So what did we think?
ah,
And SpongeBob ends with really? Anyway, I like this episode a good bit.
Yeah.
It
mhm.
after dying for Pi, that one's a tough act to follow by literally
Mm-hmm.
any episode in the show, but like I think this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think
I
there's some
agree.
solid gags throughout. It's like probably the best iteration of the Plankton disguise plot. I don't
That's
know.
not a very high bar,
By
though.
by default, yeah. Uh, yeah,
I
it's
don't
not a
know.
high hurdle to clear.
I'm like a 6 on it. I think it's a pretty memorable episode, which is weird because we were talking about how I don't know. It feels like a memorable episode, like conceptually,
Yeah, like definitely
Yeah.
Robo Crabs is a very memorable concept.
and like I
It's
think there's enough good gags throughout that I generally like it a good bit.
yeah, it's fair.
I gave it a 6 as well. I was kind of on the edge, maybe giving it a 5, but I decided to give it a 6. I just really like it.
I'm gonna give it a 5 because, like I said, I think the jokes are there, and it's like a memorable concept, and they get some good funny bits out of it. I just don't think it's like cohesive enough. Like the whole like SpongeBob like bouncing between the Mr. Krabs and not realizing thing really like it doesn't like ruin the episode, but I feel like it makes it like less streamlined. It kind of hurts the comedy with how much it has to stretch itself if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, it makes sense.
I just think it could have been like a little better executed, but it's a solid episode. I just don't think it like quite reaches like the level of polish to be a great episode. So it's a 5 out of 7.
I
There.
I'm gonna be a little bit different here because talking about this episode and how little there is to talk about this episode, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Wow, an
I
upset.
it's a it's a fine enough episode, but it's probably like, despite having one of my favorite jokes in it, probably the least memorable season 2 episode to me. I always I watched this episode 2 times over the course of 2 days, and I think this is a first for like any SpongeBob episode where I just flat out don't remember the order in which things happen in this episode because it all just kind of blends to me. And like what Gwen said, it stretches itself a little bit too thin to try to make the whole thing work, and I don't think it works the entire way through.
Hmm.
And that's my take on it. Very divisive episode, this one. And so we've done it. We've made it through miraculously, another episode of the Krusty Kast.
I can't believe it.
January, everybody.
Mm.
We really hope to see you before the end of this year.
Mhm.
I'm sure we will. What will
I'll
we
see
be?
y'all in 8 months.
Wait,
What?
well, we're not done. We need to
Yeah,
say
I
what
know.
episodes are next.
Up next we have. Hold on, I actually need to check this. Okay, Wormy and Patty hype.
Oh. We get the Wormy is really interesting to me because that's the only SpongeBob episode that scared me as a kid.
And Patty hype. I think it's a good episode, but it's also been completely irreversibly changed for me due to Pride Patty.
I mean, we'll see where it lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we
Alright.
go, let me instantly date this episode. I wonder when they're gonna reveal the Switch 2.
Oh my god. That is the worst. That is the worst thing you could have put in this episode. I think.
Okay, bye.